Hello everyone, my name is Neetu Dalal. Welcome back to my YouTube channel called Edu Classes, wherein we try to cover the concepts of psychology and try to understand as to what different topics mean. In today's video, we have picked up chapter 2 of class 12 psychology NCERT. The topic of this chapter is self and personality. इस चैप्टर में हम समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि सेल्फ का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या होता है. देयर आर सम टर्म्स एसोसिएटेड विद इट. व्हाट डज दे मीन एंड व्हाट इज personality में we will also try and see as to what are some of the major theories and major approaches that came about in the concept and how can we assess the personality of a person. So some of the major topics that we will try and understand in this chapter are self and personality, concept of self, cognitive and behavioral aspect of self, culture and self, concept of personality, major approaches to the study of personality, and assessment of personality. These are the broad topics in the chapter. We will go in further details in those as and when we move ahead in the video. So now in the introduction, it says that different people hold different ideas about themselves. These ideas represent the self of a person. What it wants to say is that we as individuals, we see ourselves in different ways. हर इंसान अपने बारे में कुछ ऐसे different ideas hold करता है which represent themselves as a person, right? Like I can feel कि मैं बहुत hard working हूँ. So, अगर मैं ये मानती हूँ कि I'm a hardworking person, this shows that it is an idea that I hold about myself and it forms the self of me as a person, right? So, starting with the introduction, it says that different people hold different ideas about themselves. These ideas represent the self of a person. What they're trying to say here is that हर इंसान के अपने बारे में कुछ ideas होते हैं, and when these ideas are clubbed together, these small ideas come together to form the concept of self. For example, an idea about myself can be that I am hardworking or that I like to go out and meet new people. These are different ideas of me. So, idea one, idea two, and n number of these ideas will come together and define as to who I am, which is the self of me as a person. So, if my idea one is that I'm hardworking, idea two is that I'm an extrovert, idea three might be that I'm a student. When I will join or club all of these, they will form the concept that I have myself of as a person, right? So that is what they want to say. Now they go on to say that relatively stable patterns of behavior represent the personality of that person. Self is different from your personality, right? Self is the ideas you have. On the other hand, personality means that a person has some stable pattern of behaviors which will come and form a personality. What do we mean by stable pattern of behavior? मतलब अपनी situation, the way you behave in different situations, that those behaviors generally have a pattern, right? If you're a calm person, no matter what situation you are in, you will be relatively calmer, or there will be few, situations where you will lose your calm. So that consistent pattern that you will have of calmness will add to your personality. Now, personality is a very broad topic in psychology, and you cannot understand personality by one line. So, we will go in detail in personality in the later in the chapter. But these are the two major topics that we have for this chapter. One is yourself, and the other is your personality. Now, diving further into the concept of self, एक इंसान का self का कैसे, like how do you form yourself, right? So this develops from your childhood, like they say, this develops from your childhood. आप बचपन से अपने बारे में कुछ आपके आइडियाज बनते हैं, आपके पेरेंट्स आपके बारे में कुछ बोलते हैं, यू फॉर्म दोज आइडियाज. योर फैमिली एंड फ्रेंड्स एज ऑल्सो एड टू द आइडियाज दैट यू हैव ऑफ योरसेल्फ. जो भी आप अपने बारे में सोचते हो वो जनरली आता है आपके खुद के आइडिया से, या जो आपके फैमिली या फ्रेंड्स आपके बारे में बोलते हैं. सो योर जो आपका सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट बनता है वो बहुत फैक्टर्स से डिटरमाइन करता है, and mostly it is determined, it forms up till an age of 6 to 7. आपका जो self होता है वो बन जाता है. Later on in life, it is always added on by different, factors and different variables that comes into your life. Now, there are personal identity. Two terms that come into the concept of self are पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी एंड सोशल आइडेंटिटी। तो एक इंसान का जो सेल्फ का कॉन्सेप्ट है वो आप दो फर्दर टॉपिक्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हो, जिसका पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी एक भाग है और सोशल आइडेंटिटी दूसरा है। नाउ व्हाट डज पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी मीन्स? It refers to those attributes of a person that make him or her different from others, right? यानी मेरी पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी वो कुछ बातें होंगी जो मुझे किसी दूसरे इंसान से अलग बनाती हैं। सो दोज विल बी माई दोज ट्रेट्स, या कुछ मेरी ऐसी आदतें, ऐसे एट्रीब्यूट्स जो मुझे बाकी लोगों से अलग बनाते हैं, वो मेरे लिए मेरी पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी का हिस्सा होगी। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं बोलूँ कि जैसे मैंने पहले भी बोला कि सपोज इफ आई बिलीव दैट आई एम हार्ड वर्किंग, मुझे लगता है कि अगर एक ग्रुप में 10 लोग हैं और मैं हार्ड वर्किंग हूँ, तो मेरा ये एट्रीब्यूट मुझे उन सब 10 लोगों से अलग बनाता है। सो दिस विल कॉम्प्राइज ऑफ माई पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी। नाउ हाउ इज दिस डिफरेंट फ्रॉम योर सोशल आइडेंटिटी? सोशल आइडेंटिटी आप एक इंसान का वो एस्पेक्ट होता है जो उसे किसी कल्चरल ग्रुप से या किसी सोशल ग्रुप से एसोसिएट करता है या किसी सोशल ग्रुप से मिलता है, राइट? And the definition goes that it refers to those aspects of a person that link him or her to a social or cultural group or are derived from it. यानी या तो वो एस्पेक्ट आपको किसी सोशल या कल्चरल ग्रुप से जोड़ता हो या आपने उस सोशल और कल्चरल ग्रुप से डिराइव किया हो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इट सेज आई एम एन हिंदू और मुस्लिम। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई से दैट आई एम अ हिंदू, ये मेरा पर्सनल आइडेंटिटी का भाग नहीं है। दिस विल बी अ पार्ट ऑफ माय सोशल आइडेंटिटी, बिकॉज ये मुझे बताता है कि मैं कौन से सोशल रिलीजन से आती हूँ। द मोमेंट आई से आई एम अ हिंदू, पीपल विल एसोसिएट मी टू अ सोशल ग्रुप, और द मोमेंट आई से दैट आई एम अ क्रिश्चियन, people will associate that I will follow some certain rules or certain norms or certain traditions, right? So this is a identity, that social identity is basically a part of you or an aspect of you that links you to a social group, cultural group, or a concept. Moving on, therefore, we can very safely say that self refers to the totality of an individual's conscious experiences, ideas, thoughts, and feelings with regard to himself or herself. यानी self आपका self will be one component जो इन सब चीजों को मिलकर बनेगा। आपके experiences, आपके अपने बारे में क्या ideas हैं, क्या आपके thoughts हैं, what are your feelings, अपने ही बारे में। So when I say, I feel that I am, let's say a very mature person, तो ये जो मेरा सेल्फ का कॉन्सेप्ट बना है, इसमें मेरे एक्सपीरियंसेस भी इंक्लूडेड हैं, मेरे आइडियाज भी इंक्लूडेड हैं, मैं अपने बारे में क्या सोचती हूँ, ऑल ऑफ दीज कम टुगेदर एंड फॉर्म माय सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट, राइट? अब अगर आप बात करो तो सेल्फ को आप एक सब्जेक्ट की तरह भी देख सकते हो और एक ऑब्जेक्ट की तरह भी देख सकते हो, राइट? अब यहाँ पे सब्जेक्ट और ऑब्जेक्ट का बोलने का क्या मतलब है? सब्जेक्ट मीन्स दैट यू आर द डूअर, यानी आप कुछ कर रहे हो, राइट? It says as a subject, the self actively engages in the process of knowing self, right? For example, if I say that I am an active listener, right? या फिर I like to paint, यहाँ पे आप सब्जेक्ट हो, आप कुछ कर रहे हो, so you become the doer or somebody who's doing something or an actor like they've mentioned. On the other hand, when it comes to being an object, जब आप अपने आप को as an object देखते हो, वहां क्या होगा? वहां you can say that you can understand that the object, the self gets observed and comes to be known. इसको अगर मैं सिंपलर टर्म्स में बताऊं तो यहाँ पे आप ये कह सकते हैं कि when you are being talked about as an object, it means that you are not doing things are being done to you. For example, that if I say that मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मुझे I feel that people hurt me consistently, या people are not very fair to me, or people are discriminatory against me. यहाँ आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो, यहाँ आपके साथ कुछ हो रहा है, so you become an object rather than a subject. It's a very same kind of distinction we do in English when it comes to subject and object, whereas subject में you are somebody who's actively involved in the process of doing something. On the other hand, when you're playing the object, things are being done to you, right? So this distinction has to be clear when it comes to the concept of self. Now, the next heading that we move on to is kind of self, right? Now there are several kinds of self, and these form as a result of our interactions with our physical and socio-cultural environments. जैसे कि हमने पहले ही बात की कि जो आपका कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सेल्फ बनता है वो आपके इंटरेक्शन से बनता है। किस चीज से? आपके जो आसपास की फिजिकल या सोशल कल्चरल एनवायरनमेंट है। फिजिकल यानी जो भी आपका एनवायरनमेंट में थिंग्स अवेलेबल हैं, और व्हाट काइंड ऑफ फिजिकल things you have around, whether it is the property of your school, or your the buses, or how you're handling different objects in the environment. On the other hand, socio-cultural environment basically means that how is the society that you're living in and what culture are you following. So all of these three come together and they impact the kind of self concept you form. Now, there's, like they say, personal self and social self. These are the two kinds of self you can have, or you do have. Personal self is an orientation in which one feels primarily concerned with oneself. यानी जब मैं बोलूं कि मेरा पर्सनल सेल्फ हाई है, तो इन दिस आई विल बी टॉकिंग, आई एम मोर कंसर्न्ड अबाउट व्हाट आई एम, हु आई एम, what equate, like what do I have as a personal, as an individual. So I'm not talking about the society per se, I'm talking about my own self. It can also include, for example, it talks about personal freedom, personal comfort, personal responsibility. तो जब आप इन चीजों की बात करोगे तो this will form a part of your personal self. अब इसमें एक दूसरी चीज भी आती है, that is your social self, right? This emerges in relation with others. जो आपका personal self है, ये जो आपका concept होगा, यहाँ पे सिर्फ ये आप तक सीमित है, लोगों से इसका कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. This only concerns you. But when you talk about social self, यहाँ पे you go beyond yourself and you talk about how are you in relation with talking to other people, what kind of social relationships you form. So this has to do a lot with the society, the family, your friends around, and this self is formed in terms of the social interactions that you have. And the example given in the book is sharing or support. So how it, how okay or how comfortable are you in sharing your things with your friends, right? So you might believe that you, as a personal self, you might believe that I'm somebody who likes to share things, but that should also reflect in your social self. So ये दो personal self and social self मिलके, these are two different kinds of self that can exist from a person. Now the next heading that we have is cognitive and behavioral aspect of self, right? And it says that the way we perceive ourselves and the ideas we hold about our competencies and attribute is called self concept. इन्होंने कहा कि जैसा हम अपने आप को देखते हैं, the way we perceive ourselves, and जो हमारे बारे में अपने ideas होते हैं about what, about our competencies. Competencies, what you can say is your capabilities, or the skills that you have, or how what do you say, like how capable are you of doing things. These will be your competencies, and attributes is called self concept. तो जो आपका अपने आप को देखने का नजरिया होता है, या जो आप समझते हैं कि I am capable of doing these things and I have these attributes, all of this come together and form self concept. This is according to your cognitive and behavior aspect. So जब भी कोई concept होता है, we see it from different domains or different angles, and therefore you will see that different people and different concepts have been given about the same term. Now they say that self concept can be positive or negative, right? यानी you can say that हर इंसान का अपने बारे में self concept positive हो सकता है और या negative हो सकता है. That is there. I can see myself as a positive, having a positive self concept, or a negative self concept, that exists. But also you can also further divide it into having, for example, I might have a positive self concept of me as a person holistically, but मैं ये भी सोच सकती हूँ कि मैं एक I'm a good person overall, but I feel that मेरी ये वाली आदत थोड़ी नेगेटिव है. So you can have negative aspect regarding yourself in terms of little small things. For example, आप ये सोच सकते हो कि आई एम वेरी गुड पर्सन, बट आई एम नॉट दैट ग्रेट व्हेन इट कम्स टू सोशल रिलेशनशिप्स और व्हेन इट कम्स टू मीटिंग न्यू पीपल. तो आपका ओवरऑल सेल्फ कॉन्सेप्ट पॉजिटिव है, बट आप समझते हैं कि आपका सोशल वाला एस्पेक्ट इज अ लिटिल नेगेटिव. तो ये इट इज नॉट लाइक कि अगर आपका अपने बारे में पॉजिटिव है तो इट विल बी पॉजिटिव थ्रू आउट. You can, it can be a mix of the two. Now the next term that we see is self-esteem. Self-esteem is defined as the value judgment of an individual about himself, herself, is known as self-esteem. Now, when we say self-esteem and self-confidence sometimes go hand in hand, people confuse the two. कि self-esteem और confidence क्या ये same है, क्या ये different है? These are two terms which are very, correlated to each other. So it basically says कि आप अपने आप को कैसे जज करते हैं, whether how do you judge yourself. This is known as self esteem. Do you, are you confident, are you, do you think you know you are a good person? That all is comes under your self esteem, what you feel about yourself. This has nothing to do with how good you are or what might be the actual truth, but it has to do with what is your judgment regarding yourself, right? Now, this can be high and low. You can have a high self esteem, and people who have high self esteem generally, perform better in life. For example, self esteem also can be, further judged on different topics like academic self esteem, social self esteem, or, so forth and so on, like in different domains of life. And it is believed that, and research also shows that somebody who has high academic self esteem would perform better in academics. So there is a correlation. Agar aapka self esteem high hota hai, so you perform better in domains in life. If it is to do with your academics, you will perform better in academics. If it is to do with your social life, you'll perform better in social life, right? And this generally gets formed by the age of 6 to 7 years. Now, the next topic that we have in this chapter is self-efficacy. So these are some of the terms that are important and one needs to know as to how they are different from each other. Basically, what self-efficacy means is that people differ in the extent to which they themselves control their life. Outcomes are controlled by luck or fate or other situational factors. So this is a self-efficacy basically means that to what extent do you feel that whatever is happening in your life is because of what you are doing. For example, if I say that I am passing an examination, so do I give the credit to luck or fate, or do I believe that I had done the hard work and I had studied, therefore I have passed? So self efficacy basically is the extent to which I believe in my competency, in my skills, in my hard work, and that is my perception of how competent or how like to what extent can I do these things. Somebody who has, somebody who believes that he has the skills required or he has the competency or the ability to which is required by a particular situation, that person demonstrate a high self efficacy. So if I believe that I have self efficacy, I will believe that I have the capacity and I will be able to overcome any situation that will come in my life, or if there's a task assigned to me, if I have self efficacy, I will be able to believe that I am competent enough to complete this task. Then the next topic that we have is self-regulations. Self-regulation refers to our ability to organize and monitor our own behavior. Like the term you say regulations itself mean that you're able to regulate things, or you're able to, manage what is right and what is wrong and bring it back to like the normal circumstances. That is self-regulation or monitoring the actions or your behaviors. So it refers, like the definition goes, it refers to our ability or to organize and monitor our own behaviors. So the ability to judge our own thoughts and to regulate and organize it is what is self-regulation. People who are able to change their behaviors according to the demand of the external environment are high on self-monitoring. So if you have high self-regulation, you will be able to adjust or change or adapt your behavior according to the requirement of the situation. If you don't have high self regulation, then you will have a tough time dealing or adapting to new environments. Now you can even if you don't have high self regulation, there are certain ways in which you can learn to self control and self monitor. Self control means learning to delay or defer the gratification of needs. For example, what gratification of needs basically means is that self control means that if you have a need and you have the ability to control yourself to not fulfill that need. For example, uh, needs like you want to eat too much of chocolate in a day, so are you able to control yourself, right? So these kind, when it comes to behavior like these, self control plays a very important role. Now some of the ways or the techniques in which you can practice self control is observation of own behavior. Now when it comes to psychology, the examples would not, or you will not see examples of eating a chocolate or eating an ice cream, but we talk about behaviors here. So some of the techniques will be to observe your own behavior, because the step is that when you will observe and you will notice as to what behaviors you're doing, तभी आप उन्हें monitor कर पाएंगे, उन्हें control कर पाएंगे. जब तक आप देखेंगे ही नहीं कि आप क्या बिहेवियर कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, हाउ विल यू बी एबल टू कंट्रोल इट? Now, the next step is, once you have seen that you know what wrong behaviors or inappropriate behaviors you're indulging it in, the next step would be self-instruction. So, for example, suppose let's take an example of smoking. So, if there's a person who indulges in smoking, so the person is observing his behavior that okay, बहुत ज़्यादा I'm smoking too much in a day, right? Now, that is observation of his behavior. The next step, self instructions would say that, okay, so whenever, so in this, you are basically instructing yourself what to do. आप अपने लिए वो instructions बता रहे हैं कि next time around this happens, I have to do this. So in the example of smoking, the person can do, okay, so next time when I feel that I'm stressed, I will not smoke, or I should try and avoid smoking. Rather, I'll have, I'll have a chewing gum, or I will start watching something else. So you're instructing whatever you feel is right thing to do in that point of time, you instruct yourself to do that. So that would be step number 2 of self-control. The third step is self-reinforcement. This is the last step of the process, and it says that if you are able to control yourself in that given scenario, you should reinforce yourself or reward yourself for controlling. So, for example, like the example only we're talking about, that of smoking. So, if the person was able to control the urge to smoke, the person will reward himself by giving him a pat on himself a pat on the back, saying you did good, or maybe buy something that he wanted to buy. So that is kind of a reward, and it makes him feel happy. So these are the three ways in which one person can practice self control, right? Now the next very interesting topic is in this is culture and self. So here we talk about कि कैसे आप जिस culture में होते हैं वो आपके self के concept को कैसे impact करता है. So like you can see in the picture, there are two distinctions that we make very clearly when we talk about culture, specifically in psychology. We say that there are two types of culture. One is individualistic and the other is collectivistic. So individualistic cultures are, for example, cultures of the US or UK, where people have, predefined, and they are very concerned with the individual, right? They think about themselves. They have clear boundaries when it comes to themselves in the family and themselves in the organizations, that in that sense. But on the other hand, culturistic cultures, basically collectivistic cultures, collectivistic cultures are the ones where people are more close knit, and they think of the society or of the group much more in comparison to self. They don't have a boundary, like a very predefined boundary between themselves and the culture or the society that they are a part of. India, or in cultures which are collectivistic, people don't have very clear cut boundaries between themselves and the group that they live in. So we are very close knit when it comes to comparison. So your culture also impacts the sense of self you have for yourself, right? Or your self concept. Because for example, in an individualistic culture, somebody who is independent and somebody who has a good education would have a higher or a better sense of self in comparison to a collectivistic cultures, which favors somebody who is very harmonious in the group and who is a close knit member of the group, or who's better at social interaction. So, therefore, your culture also plays a part in the self concept that you build. The next topic the next heading that we come to is the concept of personality. Personality refers to our characteristic ways of responding to individuals and situations. Personality is basically a combination of the ways in which we respond to specific individuals. For example, somebody is saying something to us, so how we respond to them, or situations that arise around that, right? Personality is also defined as unique and relatively stable qualities that characterize an individual's behavior across different situations over a period of time. Now, personality can also be seen, यहाँ पे ये क्या बोल रहे हैं कि personality ऐसी unique और relatively stable qualities जो एक इंसान में है, उसका एक combination भी है which stays stable over time. यानी for example, जैसे I'm an introvert, for example. So I will be introvert for a considerate amount of my lifetime, right? And I will be introvert no matter what situation I am in, right? So that personality of me being an introvert would remain consistent and stable, and those traits and those characteristics would be stable for the longer period of my life. This consistency in behavior, thought, and emotion of an individual across situations and across time periods. So this consistency in personality, or this consistency in the traits of a person, is true when it is, whether it's talking about situations or it's talking about time periods. So like I said, चाहे situations कैसी भी हो, आपकी जो personality का nature है वो वैसा ही रहेगा, and it will also stand the test of time, right? Now, there are some personality related terms that we come across when we go further in this chapter, and one of them is temperament. So now we have to understand that temperament is a very biologically based characteristic way of behaving or reacting. For example, तो जो आपका temperament होता है, this you get from your genes or this you get from your family. So therefore, it's biological in nature. For example, some people are short-tempered, right? So this is a biological temperament they have, or some that they cannot control the anger words they have. So that is a temperament. Next is trait. So trait are the stable, persistent, and specific types of specific ways of behaving. So whatever specific way that you behave in, that will fall under your trait. It is stable and consistent across, time, and it's a specific way of behaving. Next is disposition. Disposition is the tendency of a person to react to a given situation in a particular way. For example, disposition, like we all, we judge our parents' behavior in certain ways. For example, so if you can say that, if I keep watching TV till late at night, my dad has a disposition to scold me or he will be upset. So आपको पता होता है कि कोई इंसान कैसी situation में कैसा react करेगा. That is the person's disposition or the tendency of that person to react or behave in a given situation in a particular way, right? तो हम वो अंदाजा लगा लेते हैं, that अंदाजा, that tendency is the disposition of the person. Next is character. Now, the character is the overall pattern of regularly occurring behavior. These are very correlated terms, and you might be hearing some terms and thinking that, okay, this is related to that. So, you have to understand that these are correlated terms and they overlap. So, they are not distinctive from each other. So, character also is the overall pattern of regularly occurring behavior. So, the way you behave or the behaviors that you indulge in regularly will form your character. Habit, on the other hand, would be over-learned modes of behaving. So things that you learn over a period of time is habit. For example, a good habit would be, waking up every day and making your bed. So that is a habit. Or saying thank you when, somebody does something good to you. That is a habit. So we all understand what habit is. Next is values. So now values are the goals and ideals that are considered important and worthwhile to achieve. For example, you have moral values, or, values basically comprise of the ideal ways of behavior, and these are very much imparted to us by our parents or by the family we are raised in. So we do take a lot of values from them, but as we grow up, we also adapt values that we like from the environment or the culture that we are raised in. Now there are some approaches in the study of personality, and those approaches, these are basically the ways of looking at personality from different approaches. Over time, different theorists came in and gave different theories and talked about certain ways of approaching personality. So this is a combination of all that came in. So now, when we talk about approaches of personality, we can majorly divide it into three. So the first one is type approach, then it's a trait approach, and the last one is interactional approach. So when we talk about type approach, this examines certain broad patterns in the observed pattern behavior. For example, हम किसी इंसान का एक behavior को देख के बोलते हैं ये तो इसी type का इंसान है, right? So we examine their patterns, we examine the patterns of a person in their behavior, and then we classify them to a type. So this type approach basically talks about that, as to how you can classify different personalities on the basis of the types that we will read. On the other hand, if we move apart from type approach, then there is trait approach. Trait approach basically talks about specific psychological attribute that a person might have, right? यानी ये इंसान ये टाइप्स की बात नहीं करेगा. दिस विल टॉक अबाउट ट्रेट्स या क्वालिटीज जो एक इंसान में होती हैं या हो सकती है, और उसके बेसिस पे आप डिफरेंट पर्सनालिटीज को कैसे अलग समझ सकते हो. Then there is the last one is interactional approach. this basically talks about कि situation का क्या role है in determining the behavior of a person. So this will also consider the situation or the setting or or the contingencies that are there in while a person is indulging into a certain behavior or certain exhibiting some behavior. So they will consider situations and take them into role. We will further talk about the type, trait, and interactional approach in our next coming video. So this will be the first part, and there will be further proceeding videos which will be in continuation to these. So stay tuned and subscribe and like to our channel if you like the content that we are putting it, so that we stay motivated. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos on the same chapter.